was January of 1985, and I was about 3 years post-college, and Ron was about six months post-college. And we were at a bar. You're not supposed to meet people at bars, but we met at a bar. And
you don't meet good people at bars.
That's true, that's true. The funny twist of the evening was, and we both tell the story differently, but I asked him to dance. He was with two friends, and I saw him go over and ask a girl to dance, and she turned him down. And I thought, well, you're an idiot, because he was really cute. Is really cute, sorry. So I went over and asked him to dance, and he said yes. And we walked out on the dance floor, and a real stupid song came on, and you really couldn't dance. So he made some sarcastic comment about nice song, and I was like, well, it's not my fault, you know. So it was banter the whole night. We just talked for like 3 hours, and he asked me out for the next night. And I don't think we ever dated anybody else again.
That was it.
That was it.
Yeah, so we were only dating for a year before we got engaged.
We'd gone out to dinner one night to a Mexican restaurant, and we were
talking about Christmas.
Yeah, we were just talking about Christmas and presents and stuff. He said, well, what do you want for Christmas? And of course in my mind I'm thinking, well, I want to get, you know, an engagement ring, but I'm not going to ask for one. So I said, oh, I don't know, you know, whatever you want to get me. And he was like, well, how about my last name? And I kind of made a stunned face, and right then the waitress walked up to take our orders, and the moment was kind of over, you know, like we just didn't really visit it. So the next day we were talking on the phone, and I said, so what about what you said last night? He said, what are you talking about? I said, oh no, you're not getting away from this one that easy. Wanting similar things, having similar goals, similar character,
personalities too.
Yeah, similar ethics, all that stuff, just feeling like we had a very similar base. In fact, even with our children, it was never like we felt one wasn't backing the other one up, or one was the easy parent, one was the you know, good cop, bad cop thing. It was never like that. It was like our two bad cops. Yeah, our kids were like, dang, I couldn't get her to do it either. So I thought, oh, it was a nice day. I think I'll call the kids and see if they want to come home for dinner. So I texted my daughter and said, why don't you and Clark come home for dinner? They ride together a lot. And she said, haven't you talked to Clark? He's not feeling well. He's been throwing up all day. And so I called him, and he said he was really not feeling well and wanted to come home. So Ron went down and got him and brought him home. We kind of started asking him questions about what happened. He said, well, I don't know. I woke up at like 5:30 in the morning, and I was vomiting into a trash can. I said, well, how many times do you throw up? And he said, like 12 times. When we first had seen this fraternity house, it's a brand new, year-old, beautiful fraternity house, but they have 49 beds, and they're all lofted, all 7 feet off the ground. And I said, is there just any possible way you fell out of your bed? He said, Mom, why would you think that? And I said, I don't know, I
didn't think he fell because he wouldn't live. There's no way you could live.
That's what, yeah, truthfully. He got up the next morning, still had a headache, still wasn't feeling well, so we decided to take him to the hospital. So I took a CT scan, and the doctor came back and said, yeah, he's got a fractured skull. So it's in a place where your skull is very thick, very difficult to fracture. He said, I suspect he probably fell on his head. And we said, so it couldn't happen any other way? He said, not unless someone hit him in the head with a crowbar. To have a doctor say, your son, we have to try to save him. He's bleeding, and you know, his brain is bleeding, and if we don't operate, he is not going to make it. And even if we do operate, he might not make it. But we have to go try to save your son. And they walked out of the room. I tell people all the time, I still can't find a word. There's not a word really bad enough to describe it. Horrific. None of those are even close to what it was. We sat there for 3.5 hours, and everything they say about life flashing before your eyes, it's really true. I mean, like, I beg God, please don't take him, please don't take him. And even in that same train of thought, you think about having to plan a funeral. Well, we've heard statistics obviously throughout the whole process, and literally Clark's injury and stroke, all that carries with it about a 90% fatality rate. So to say he cheated death is an understatement. That he's a miracle is an understatement. He truly is. You know, he came out of the coma after 10 and a half weeks, and it's not like in the movies where someone wakes up and asks for a pizza. I mean, he literally had to learn everything all over again. But he started to come back, and had some in-home care that would come in to help us too. But it was basically us taking care of him.
Right.
It really was truly like having an infant again. Because he could, 150-pound infant, because he had to be changed and all that stuff until he could relearn how to use the bathroom again and everything. But he did. I have never seen anybody that handled this situation like he did. He worked so hard. He's amazing.
With a singular goal.
Yep, he wanted his life back, and he did everything in his power to do it. I think RAD started and remains a grassroots movement. It started as one mom saying, this is wrong, this needs to change. And like you said, it's an awareness thing. If you don't know there's a problem, you can't fix the problem. So I never thought about my son being safe or not safe in a bunk bed, never really gave it a second thought. I never thought he would fall out of a bunk bed, but he did. And once I found out how prevalent it was, I think RAD's main goal is to bring awareness to it, and B is to empower students and parents to demand safety. My most recent tagline that I'm pretty proud of is #one more fall is too many, because I feel like Clark was enough. I think you just grow together. Yeah. It's like we're
one person almost.
Yeah, I think when you first get married, there's all these, and I think we've changed each other in a lot of ways. And
she's gotten a lot better.
I think children add this dimension to a marriage that's just because
it's a binder.
Because you know what? Once that baby comes out of you, it is so not about you anymore. Mm-hmm. And it's funny, you know, I just think the things that brought us together kept us together, and the fact that we wanted to keep it together.
We've always been very family oriented. In fact, our kids always hung out at our house with their friends. And in those years since that time, we've had our kids' friends tell us that we're kind of like their role models for what a family's supposed to be like. So that's what family has meant to us, and it's shown to other people as well. But through the tragedy of our son's near death, our family almost came apart. Even if your family is that strong, when it's possible to be hit by something that can tear you apart. And we hung on for dear life and made it, but not easily.
No.
And that's really the lessons that I've learned in our marriage, is more about, you know, appreciating what you have when you have it, and you think you're strong when you're not, and your family's really, as strong as it may appear, it really isn't. It's a fragile thing. You really have to nurture it.